Corcovado in chord melody style has been on your wish list for quite a while now, so here it finally is. Hi my dear jazz guitar and bossa nova enthusiasts around the globe, Sandra Sherman here. Greetings from Austria. I'll teach you my chord melody arrangement of Corcovado, also called Quiet Nights of Quiet Stars. Note for note, slow and easy, and there is also a slow tempo version towards the end of this lesson. You'll learn all the great guitar chords and how to weave the melody and the bossa rhythm in between. I've made tabs including standard music notation, and I've made backing tracks, all of which you can download from one of the links down below in the description box. Please read the instruction right next to the link, the download instruction. All right, let's get the party started. We are in the key of C major and we have an A, B, A, C song form. The A and B sections are 8 bars long, while the C section is 12 bars long. All right, here we go. All right, we start with an A minor 6 chord. That's typical for bossa nova standards. We have an A minor 6 here, but I take advantage of the open A string. And since the melody continues on the D, I play it like this. So I have the open A string, F sharp, C, and the E. All right, I start with the bass. I play with my fingers usually for bossa nova style. Then the upper 3. And here's the melody on the 3rd of the B string. Play that alone, back to the 5th, back to the 3rd fret, right? Then back to the 5th and play all 4 strings. Melody continues on the 3rd, the 5th, and now the melody is over and I still have something left in the bar, in a measure. I play a rhythm filler and I do that by playing the A string and then the middle 2 strings alone. I don't play the B string now anymore because the melody should still be ringing and I don't want to interfere that. I don't want to disturb. So I play bass and then the D and the G string separately. All right, here are the first 2 bars. Now we change over to an A flat diminished, which is here, plus the flat 13 in the melody. So what I get is an A flat, that F, the B, and the E. Right? I play the bass again first, because the melody always starts 1 8th note later. Then I play the upper 3 or all 4, it doesn't really matter. Then the same melody, the 3rd of the B string, and I'm barring here, so I can play that 3rd. The 5th, the 3rd fret again, and then all 3 upper. No bass this time because the bass comes later. The melody is a little different here. And now I play the bass. We're on beat 1 of the next bar now. melody continues on the D, so third, and the fifth, and then I have my rhythm filler going on again with the bass and the middle two strings. Alright, so here are the two bars for the A flat diminished. 3, 4. Now I have a 2-5-1 chord progression in the key of F, and that one would be G minor 7. I bar it because I need to play that C later on, so I have my G. I do not play the A string, all right? So my fingers are on the D string, E, and then the third, third, and third, but I don't play the A string. I start with the bass again, then the upper three. Now I have the melody on the C, that's the fifth of the G string. Then the B string on the third again, back to the fifth of the G, right? Oh, sorry. C9. Let's give you a better angle. Here we go. That's the C, E, B flat, and D. Inner 4 strings. All 4. Then I go over to the C, right? That's the first fret. I glide over to shape to form a C9 sus4 chord. 8th fret, 8th fret, 7th, 6th fret. Melody goes out to the 5th. If you can't play it like that, just lift your fingers. But it would be better if the rest keeps ringing, because that's more chord melody style. So, all right, these two bars from G minor. F major 7, the resolution, inner 4 strings, F, A, C, E. All right, I bar over everything sometimes, but I don't play the E strings, all right, just the inner 4 strings. And a little stop, and then the melody, goes down here to the D on the 3rd fret of the B. I keep this ringing into my now formed F major 7 chord, F, E, A, first, second, 2nd fret. And I play the bass first, then the inner 2 strings, because we're on a rhythm filler again. I don't want to disturb, interfere with this. And then the rhythm filler continues on the 2nd bar. All right, so from that F, alrighty, next let's hear the entire A section at slow tempo. Welcome to the B section. We start with an F minor 9 chord here. F, A flat, E flat, G. Inner 4 strings. I start with the bass again because the melody is 1/8 late. And then I play the 3 D, G, and B strings. Now I bar in order to get that F. The melody goes between the 8th and 6th fret, all right? So either you start with the barred chord. I usually start with a regular non-barred chord. And now I bar over to get that 6th fret of the B string. Then the 8th, the 6th, right? B flat 13, the 5 chord is next, and I remain barred. Here's a 13 chord, but I bar it. 6th fret of the E. I don't play the A string. You never play the A string when you have a jazz chord on the starting from the 6th string, from the E string. Check out my basic jazz chords if you're not familiar with them. So 6th, 6, 7, and 8. Right? And I play all 4 together. Then Then again, I'll lift this in order to get the 6th of the B string back to the 8. And then my filler continues like in the A section. E string and the 2 middle strings, D and G string, twice. The first 2 bars, 3, 4. Now E7 flat 9, I play a D diminished chord with the E in bass. So I start with the E, and then the melody is late. I play all of the inner 4 strings. If you think that this is a little too much bass, too bassy, then don't play the D. If you don't like that, just play the upper 3. So open E string, and then 5 of A, 6, 4, and 6. Because I told you if we play from the E string, we don't play the A string. So you can actually omit the A string if you want to. Then I go to the 5th. I use this pinky. I slide or glide with my pinky because it goes back and forth and back. Back, all 4 strings. 5th. Now I go to the A7 sharp 5 chord. 5, 5, 6, 6, and I start with the upper 3 because that's a rhythm in the second bar of a bossa nova always starts with the upper strings. Then the bass, then the B string on the 5th actually, so you glide down 1 to the left, glide back up, shape that A7 flat sharp 5 again, and the filler is E and the middle 2 strings twice. All right, those 2 bars at slow tempo because they're quite tricky. 3, 4. All right, next we go to a 2-5 in the key of G, and that's A minor 7. Actually, what I do is I glide my fingers down here and play the A string. This is an A minor 7, but I don't play it like this. I take advantage of the open A string, and since my fingers are in this shape from before, all I do is I glide over here, right? So I make things easier for me. A string, then those 3, then the 3rd of the B string, back to the 5th, back to the 3rd, right? Now it's a D9 chord, 5, 4, 5, 5, inner 4 strings. Then I let go of my index. I try to keep everything ringing as long as possible, but the index has to go now to the 3rd of the B. 5th, 3rd, and then we shape a D minor 7 chord. That's 5, 3, 5, 6. All right, so let's revisit that 2-5 chord progression. A, D, D minor 7. All right, now we're on D minor 7. I have a melody going on the 5th of the B string. So I glide in, just play the B string, go out again to the 6th, right? Go back in, but this time I play all the strings again in order to make a statement. This is a D minor 9 chord. Then just the B string on the 6th, right? Here's the D minor thing. D diminished, and that's for a G7 flat 9 chord. So we have a D minor to G 2-5 chord progression. So here's the D diminished. We had this before for the E7, which is also the same chord voicing. But this time no E in bass, of course. D diminished, that's G7 flat 9. 5, 6, 4, 6. Then A flat diminished, which is the same thing actually. A flat on the 4th, 3rd, 4th, and I play this E because it's the melody on the 5th of the B string. Then the 3rd of the B string, so you need to bar. then the bass, and then the melodies on the 5th of the G string, the C. So this is a little tricky. From the D diminished, A flat diminished, melody, bass, and here we go. From the D minor 7 chord, last 2 bars, 3, 4, and now let's listen to the whole B section at a slower tempo. After you have repeated the A section, we jump to the C section, and this is an F minor, starts with an F minor 7. Start with the bass again because the melody starts on a beat one end. We are an 8, 10, 8, 9, 8 by barring. So I start with the F root, then the upper 3 strings, and now the melody goes to the 11th of the B string, 9th, 8, put your middle finger away to get the 8 of the B string, and add your pinky to the 10th of the G string, right? Then we go to the 5 chord, B flat 7, flat 5, due to the melody. Here's the B flat 7, 6, 6, 7, and the 5th. I play this with my thumb. You can play it, I can't even do that, with your regular fingers if you want to. All 4 strings, and now a rhythm filler because no more melody. The 2 inner strings, D and G, bass, and the 2 inner strings again. Okay, here's the first 2 bars. 3, 4. 3, 4. Then E minor 7, the same as the F, but on the 7th. 7th, a 9th, 7th, 8th, 7. I play the inner 4 strings now. Then just the 3 D, G, and B strings without the root. And now the melody line starts on the E string. Then 10 of B, 8 of B, 7 of B, and the 9th, add your pinky to the G. It's the same melody as before on the F. Of course, 1 to the left, because we're now in E. And the rhythm is a little different. Then the A minor 11 chord. A, G, C, and D. And again the filler, middle 2 strings, bass, and the middle 2 strings, just like before on the B flat. Okay, so these 2 bars from the E minor, 3, 4. D minor 7, the same thing, 2 frets to the left. Inner 4 strings, 5, 7, 5, 6. Then the 3 D, G, and B strings. Same melody, 5, 8, 6, 5, G string 7, right? And now the 5 chord is G7 sus4 chord. That's the third. So many THs in there. That's the third of the G of the E string. Sorry, that's a G. The third. That is the 7th of the chord. Where are we? And the 5th of the G string. Then the melody goes to the 4th of the G string. Back to the 5th, the 3rd of the B string, which should be barred here, right? So from the D minor, 3, 4. half diminished. Here's the E, third, third, and third, upper 4 strings. Then the lower 3 strings, D, G, and B. Then only, now we have a rhythm filler going on, D string and G and B strings. So all 4, just the lower 3, just the bass, just the inner 2. Oh, sorry. That's what we want. Now it goes to an A7 flat 9. That's the 5 chord, and this is the same as an E diminished chord. And that's 2, 3, 2, 3, upper 4 strings. And actually first I just play the upper 3 strings because we're now in a rhythm filler. So now I play the bass on beat 1 of the next bar. And what I do now is I move them up 3 frets to the right because a diminished chord repeats itself all 3 frets. It's a symmetrical chord, and that's not the melody, but there's so much room, space here left that I decided to play it up high. 5, 6, 5, 6, and 8, 9, 8, 9. All right, from E half diminished. Now the last 4 bars, actually just 3 because the last bar is empty. That's the same thing we had before. D minor 7, all 4 strings, then the inner 3 strings, melody. The G7 sus4 melody again, same thing we had before. 3, 3, 5, 4, 5, 3, and now the last chord is the resolution C6. 3, 2, 2, 1, C6. And it keeps ringing through the last 2 bars. All right, next is the entire C section at slow tempo for you. Corcovado is one of many jazz bossa nova standards I have up here on my YouTube channel. You may want to check one or the other out. I hope you liked this video. Give it a fat thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I see you next week. Servus, baba.